All right. I learned I was a storyteller when I was 12 years old and desperate for my sister's attention. She had just moved out, and granted it was just across the street, but still, things changed. And not least of which was that she stopped paying attention to me. So I started to embellish my stories a little bit. It wasn't lying, it was adding some color. And the more color I added, the more she paid attention to me. So I kept embellishing, and before I knew it, I was just creating from scratch. I didn't expect it to work. I didn't expect her to believe me when I told her that I had a secret boyfriend who was 14 and went to another school. I expected her to recognize that there was no possible way that I would come in contact with someone from another school. But instead she said, "Really, what's he like?" I improvised and I said, "He's cute and funny and smart." So then, the next time I saw her, I said, "So I saw my secret boyfriend last night." And I expected her to realize that that was basically impossible with a 7 p.m. curfew and no public transportation. But instead she said, "Have you kissed him yet?" And without thinking, I nodded and was rewarded with her total attention. "So, how was it?" It was nice. I hadn't had my first kiss yet, so all I had to go on were these romance novels I just found. He was good. He tasted like bubble gum. But she didn't question it. So I started thinking, what could I do with a little bit of planning and some calculated drama? So next time I went over, she was waiting for me on the steps, and I walked up and she said, "What's going on with your boyfriend?" And I was ready. "I don't know. He hasn't called me in 2 days." "Really? Why?" "I don't know. It's not like him. We talk every day." And she looked at me gravely and my heart stopped and I thought, here, she's going to figure out that there's no way in hell I'm getting calls from an unidentified boy every single night that my mom doesn't know about. And she said, "What if something happened to him?" "Oh my God, do you think that's it?" And I fell down on the stairs next to her so she wouldn't see my satisfied smile. It was 3 agonizing days before I heard from him. I burst into her house and I said, "He called!" And she shut the TV off and she turned all of her attention on me. And she said, "And?" And I said, "He was in a fight. He was hurt, but not too bad, but he was grounded." And she said, "A fight? Well, what about?" "Drugs." "Yeah, but it was just one time, and he's not going to do it again, and I didn't know anything about it." And I had to throw that in. I didn't want her to get distracted from the story, worrying about me being involved in drugs. And she said, "Wow, I hope that's true, but it could get worse." A few days later, she announced, "I think I should meet him." Now, before this, it would have thrown me. I'd have been nervous, but I was an expert now. So I would love that. But he's moving far away, California, actually, because of the drugs, So barely time to say goodbye, and definitely no time for you to meet him. And she accepted this unfortunate coincidence the way she had every other plot twist. Well, now I have the creative challenge of keeping the story going with him being far away. This is 1988. There's no IM and email and Facebook through which a person could keep a long-distance relationship going, real or imagined. But I was committed to the story. So I sat down and I spent 3 days coming up with a new handwriting style. And then I got my first letter from him. He was a real romantic. One of his first letters said, "My heart breaks a little more with every day we're apart. No one in California is as pretty as you. I'll never forget you, ever." My sister immediately sat down to help me write my reply. "Tell him that you long to be in his arms, and you'll wait patiently until you see him again. I was, but I don't know if I will see him again, because, you know, he's in California, and, like, I'm 12. And again, I needed to keep her focused on the dramatic point of the story, the lovers ripped apart. She said, I know, it's just what you say in love letters. He'll love it, trust me. So the problem with letter writing is it's a very slow way to advance a story, especially when you put him across the country. So her attention started to wane in between the letters. And I started to get impatient. And so I had a reply come the day after I'd sent a letter. I would walk in her apartment holding what I really felt was my best work yet. And she looked at me and said, "How did that letter get here so fast?" And I just wanted to scream, "Oh, what, now? Now you're going to tear apart the details of this? Now you're recognizing all the problems with this story. That's great." But I stayed calm. I reminded myself I could make her believe anything. So I thought for a minute about the time difference between me and California. And I confidently declared, "He jiggled the times." Yeah, that's right. He jiggled the times. I had spent months carefully crafting the story that had completely fooled my adult sister, and at this critical moment, I come up with, "He jiggled the times." She looks at me and says, "What does that mean?" So I made one last desperate attempt to reroute her in the story by saying, "Well, I don't know how he did it, but obviously he did because it's right here." Well, that was the end of that. But I didn't realize how much the end until my mom came to me and said, "Honey, you know the difference between reality and make-believe, right?" I was infuriated, okay? I had told a damn good story, and it deserved to be accepted on its merits. So I looked at my mom and I said, "Of course I do. A secret boyfriend? Like, that's even possible?" I don't know. She must have misunderstood a story I was telling her about a book. I mean, she really hasn't been paying very much attention to me lately.